Most people spend their lives trying to change their circumstances, their income, or their position, yet very few stop to consider the one change that makes all other changes possible. They want better results without becoming better themselves. They want progress without preparation, success without structure, and growth without discomfort. That approach explains why so many efforts begin with excitement and end in frustration. At some point, reality delivers a quiet but powerful message. Nothing around you improves until something within you does. The world does not rise to meet your hopes. It responds to the person you have become. Every outcome you are living today is, in some way, a reflection of past choices, habits, and standards. This realization is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to wake you up. You do not need a new environment, a new title, or a new set of people to begin again. What you need is a decision to rebuild from the inside out. The most important construction project of your life is not a house, a career, or a reputation. It is the rebuilding of your thinking, your discipline, and your character. When you commit to rebuilding yourself, you stop waiting for permission and start creating direction. From that moment forward, progress is no longer accidental, it becomes intentional. Personal responsibility is the moment a person realizes that their life is not happening to them but responding through them. It is the decision to stop handing over control to circumstances, luck, other people, or past events. When you accept personal responsibility, you acknowledge that while you may not control everything that happens, you always control how you respond, what you choose, and the direction you take next. This awareness is powerful because it shifts you from a position of reaction to a position of leadership over your own life. Many people wait for conditions to improve before they improve themselves, but personal responsibility reverses that thinking. It teaches that progress begins internally. Your habits, attitudes, and daily decisions quietly shape your outcomes over time. When things go wrong, responsibility does not mean self-blame or guilt. It means honest evaluation. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this, and what must I change?" That question alone creates growth. Taking responsibility also builds confidence. Each time you choose discipline over excuses, learning over comfort, and action over delay, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change. Over time, this mindset rebuilds character, strengthens self-respect, and creates a life directed by intention rather than chance. Growth through self-reflection begins when a person is willing to look inward with honesty rather than judgment. It is the practice of examining your thoughts, habits, choices, and emotional reactions to understand why you are getting the results you are experiencing. Without reflection, life becomes a cycle of repeated patterns. With reflection, it becomes a classroom. Self-reflection allows you to pause and observe yourself as if you were both the student and the teacher, learning from your own behavior instead of ignoring it. When you reflect, you begin to recognize which habits are strengthening you and which are quietly weakening you. You notice how certain beliefs influence your confidence, your effort, and your expectations. Many limitations are not external, but internal assumptions carried for years without question. Reflection brings these assumptions into awareness, where they can be evaluated and reshaped. This process requires courage because it asks you to confront uncomfortable truths, but that discomfort is temporary while growth is lasting. Self-reflection also sharpens decision-making. By reviewing past choices and their outcomes, you develop wisdom that prevents repeated mistakes. You become more intentional, less reactive, and more aligned with your values. Over time, consistent reflection builds clarity, emotional maturity, and self-mastery, allowing you to rebuild yourself with purpose rather than guesswork. Discipline over motivation means understanding that feelings are unreliable guides for long-term progress. Motivation often arrives when conditions are comfortable or when excitement is high, but it fades the moment effort becomes inconvenient. Discipline, on the other hand, is a commitment to action regardless of mood, energy, or circumstance. It is the ability to do what must be done even when you do not feel like doing it, knowing that consistency matters more than enthusiasm. When rebuilding yourself, discipline creates structure where motivation cannot. It turns goals into routines and intentions into habits. Small disciplined actions repeated daily quietly reshape your identity. Reading a few pages, practicing a skill, waking up on time, or choosing restraint over impulse may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they compound into noticeable growth. Discipline trains the mind to prioritize long-term benefit over short-term comfort. Relying on motivation places progress at the mercy of emotion, but discipline places it under your control. Each disciplined choice strengthens self-trust because you prove to yourself that you keep your word. This self-trust builds confidence and resilience. Eventually, discipline becomes easier because it becomes part of who you are. What once required effort becomes automatic, allowing progress to continue even during difficult or uncertain periods. Learning as a lifestyle means committing to continuous growth rather than limiting education to a specific phase of life. It is the understanding that the world changes, opportunities evolve, and personal development must keep pace. When learning becomes a daily habit, it sharpens awareness, expands perspective, and strengthens the ability to adapt. A person who keeps learning remains flexible in thinking and prepared for challenges instead of being surprised by them. This kind of learning goes beyond formal education. It includes reading books, observing successful people, listening carefully, and reflecting on experiences. Every mistake becomes a lesson, and every success becomes feedback. Learning as a lifestyle encourages curiosity, replacing complacency with exploration. Instead of assuming you already know enough, you approach life with the mindset that improvement is always possible. This attitude keeps the mind active and prevents stagnation. Consistent learning also improves decision-making. The more knowledge and understanding you gain, the better equipped you are to choose wisely under pressure. It builds confidence not through arrogance but through preparation. Over time, learning compounds just like discipline, quietly shaping your character, communication, and competence. A commitment to lifelong learning ensures that as circumstances change, you continue to grow rather than fall behind. Time as a building material means recognizing that every hour is actively shaping the person you are becoming. Time is not neutral. It is always producing results based on how it is used. Whether invested wisely or wasted carelessly, time leaves evidence in your skills, habits, health, and mindset. When you understand this, you stop treating time casually and begin treating it as a resource that must be managed with intention. Most people overestimate what they can do in a short period and underestimate what consistent use of time can achieve. Small daily actions, when repeated over months and years, create massive change. Reading for a few minutes each day, practicing a skill regularly, or thinking intentionally about goals gradually constructs a stronger version of yourself. On the other hand, repeated distractions, procrastination, and aimless activity slowly weaken progress without being immediately noticeable. Using time well does not mean being busy, it means being purposeful. It requires aligning daily activities with long-term goals rather than temporary pleasures. When time is directed instead of drifted through, focus improves and progress becomes measurable. Awareness of time encourages better priorities and fewer regrets. Over the long run, how you spend your time determines not just what you achieve, but who you become. Character before success means focusing on who you are becoming rather than only what you are achieving. Success built without strong character is unstable because it relies on external results instead of internal strength. Character is formed through values such as integrity, patience, responsibility, and self-control, and these qualities determine how you handle opportunity, pressure, and failure. When character comes first, success becomes something you can sustain rather than something you struggle to protect. Building character requires making the right choices even when no one is watching. It is shown in honesty during small matters, consistency in effort, and respect for others regardless of position or reward. These quiet decisions shape reputation and self-respect over time. A person with strong character does not chase shortcuts because they understand that shortcuts weaken the foundation. Instead, they value long-term growth over immediate gain. Character also influences how success affects you. Without it, success can magnify ego, impatience, or recklessness. With it, success amplifies humility, generosity, and leadership. When challenges arise, character determines whether you respond with resilience or collapse under pressure. By developing character first, you ensure that when success arrives, you are prepared to handle it wisely, responsibly, and in alignment with your values. Rebuilding yourself is not about perfection, it is about progress. It is the lifelong commitment to grow a little wiser, a little stronger, and a little more disciplined each day. When you accept responsibility, reflect honestly, practice discipline, continue learning, respect your time, and strengthen your character, you place your life back into your own hands. The results may not appear overnight, but they will be lasting. Every small improvement compounds, and every right decision adds stability to the future you are creating. No matter where you are starting from, you always have the ability to begin again with intention and purpose. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in possessions or positions, but in the person you are becoming. I wish you the courage to rebuild, the discipline to stay consistent, and the patience to trust the process. May every step you take move you closer to the best version of yourself. Thank you for your time, your attention, and the opportunity to share this message with you.